It can be working in a toxic work environment. Like I can actually relate to that, when it comes to having poor communication, bad leadership, when you have a lot of expectation on you, and then maybe resources you need to actualize your work is not available, that can actually affect your productivity and even your morale. But how do you navigate through this toxicity at workplace? My name is Joyce Jakada. This is today's live, and we're live on Facebook and YouTube at Equa Television International. You can do well to join this conversation. Tell us your experience working in a toxic workplace, and then what is actually the way out. Sambo Sloban Sabi is here. Jemima Emmanuel Prudence Berger. Good morning. It's Monday morning, and usually that's the feeling. If it was Friday, everybody would be up and about and shouting, "Hey!" TGIF. But on Monday we are always calm because it's a long week. You're just starting the week, but you have to cheer up because I always say, you must work.
You have to be deliberate about Monday.
You must work. So there's nothing you can do. I remember on Friday after work, when I got home, I said, thank God it's Friday, like the relief. And then this is one of the weekend I knew I had nothing to do official. So I was like, oh, thank God it's Friday. And apart from that, I put up a music video. It was a dance video on my status. I was so excited. Then on Saturday night, while I slept and woke up Sunday morning, when I woke up, I didn't know that it was Sunday. I was thinking it was Monday. I was like, just when? And then today's Monday. Then I realized, no, it's Sunday, and the joy continued. So, but then thank God that we have the work, we have the job. A lot of people out there have been praying to God for something to do. They want to contribute their quota in the society. They have the skill and what they do not have, and we pray for such people that God will open doors. So while we have the time, while we have the strength, the enablement, the Bible encourages us to do it as unto God. Yesterday someone was sharing how that work is worship, and it's important we see it that way. So what happens if I want to take my work as my worship, do it as unto God, yet I find myself in an environment where communication is terrible, where like there are a lot of expectations beyond what I'm expected to do. And then where I find out that people that maybe give me instruction are expected to give me instructions on what to do, like don't communicate how it should be. Like how do you navigate working an environment where things seems difficult, your morale, even when you come thinking that I want to do this, I want to do that, but you just find out that the environment just like brings your morale down or impact on your productivity. How do you navigate that? Maybe we should start by talking about the toxic environment and some of the characteristics.
Well, being that I when you said earlier in your opening, you say you can relate, and then you can only relate when you have experience or something. It is not easy. Like it's not easy when you talk about a toxic place, then you have to just navigate your way, through it. And when you talk work is a place where things supposed to work. And there's expectation, because always when you come to work, there's an assignment for you to achieve. And then for you to achieve, everything must be put in place. If it's money that you need to go and buy certain things to come and work with it, they need to provide the money. And not just providing it, they have to provide it on time so that you meet the target. If it's stationaries that you work with, you just have to make sure that those stationaries are there. These are things that you work with. But above all, you work with humans. And then human beings, let's say coming from different background, in some cases, different belief. The way you understand things, like the way you say it, work, we are expected to take our work, everything we do as unto God. Simply put, anything you do is worship unto God. So how do you worship God? Through your work in a toxic environment. That's it. And I can draw it to saying you have to know who you are first. we can't take away that. Know who you are, know where you are there. That will give you, let me use this word, the ginger to navigate. First, if you are a professional, why do you choose that profession? For me personally, if you are a professional, why do you choose that profession? If you are a Christian, what is being expected of you? Because if you are a broadcaster, let's use this as an example. I'm a broadcaster and I'm a Christian. So how do I combine the two? Because if my broadcasting is worship unto God, how do I do it?
But
And
you know,
in worship,
even sorry to cut you, but before we talk about navigating it, knowing who you are, and how, that's I think is going to help you navigate through. I really want us to talk about the toxicity. Like, what are those characteristics? What makes a workplace toxic? You know, by the word toxic is something that is harmful, something that is detrimental, something that affects your well-being, like things that are negative. So what makes a workplace, a business place, and what makes it toxic?
you see, I mentioned people. I mentioned things that you use to make things work. Okay, you meet people that in quote says they are Christian, but their behaviors, their character doesn't even portray that. And you are there every morning, you deal with them. You are seeing things as act of worship. They are seeing it, you wasting your time. You don't even know what you are doing.
Act of making money.
Yes, act of making money. They don't care how you see it. Because
They
you
necessarily look at it as act of making money.
Act of
I'm
witchcraft.
you see,
I'm actually looking at it that way. If it is act of making money, then they'll put in more effort. because
to
they
get
want
more
it.
money.
Yeah.
But
You
there's no effort being put in, and they still expect to get their pay at the end of the day. Even extra, for welfare and all these other expenses that you get, and rewards that you get. So I wouldn't necessarily say that they look at it as a money giving opportunity, but I think it's just something to while away time.
while away time, catch fun.
Yeah, so okay, I come to work. At the end of the day, I'm not really doing anything productive, but at the end of the month,
But you know,
I'm
there are
getting
people
my...
that the first thing for them is the money. I'm just there because I need a job so that I can get money to pay my bills. I don't care about passion. I don't care about, and that's what somebody tell you, any office that is available. All I need is that at the end of the month, let me just get paid. So whether they are able, the environment is enabling for them to carry out their job or not, all they care is at the end of the month they get
They
their
also
pay
get their
and
pay.
they are satisfied. So that is why the person can exhibit characteristics of toxicity, like poor communication, poor leadership. You're being manipulative, like you don't care. You're just concerned about what you stand to gain.
People like that disregard ethics.
Yeah.
They disregard ethics. After all, it doesn't really make sense. It doesn't make sense to them. And you see people like that. You meet people that all they are after is just to make things not to work. It's not working for them. It's not working for them. But they try their possible best to see that even the people that are willing, that want things to work, they make sure they frustrate the issue, the process.
Exactly.
And that's when you will see that, okay, in some cases, things that you need, right? They will deliberately deny you just to frustrate you. That's why you find out when you comes to maybe your benefit, either is your salary delayed for no reason, intentionally, just to humiliate you, or your allowances is being shortchanged, or they don't care about your welfare. All they want is just for them. If it's a company, all they want is just that profit, that turnover. Just work. They don't care how you do it. They don't care about your family. Like just do it for them. Let them just get that. So people like places like that, it can be toxic, unless
you see, it's not. It can be. It is toxic.
it is, yeah.
He was saying something about certain people just being there to. They're not giving their best, and they don't want any other person to do the same. I heard a story of a lady who was working in an organization, and this lady was really hardworking. She even left her child of barely 3 years at home with the father and came to work in a different state, and then at the weekend she goes back, so she commutes, and it was a very stressful time for her. But anytime that she's being handed a job to do, she does it with the whole of her heart. And there's another lady who was just a step ahead of her, and they were supposed to be in a team together. This woman does not come for work, or even if she's around, she would create one excuse or another and not do the job. And so things were tough on one person, and the other person was enjoying benefits. Because if she comes to write a report, she writes the report, we did this, we did that, and we did this. But the other lady did not give any input. But at the end of the day, for a certain reason, this lady pleaded with the other one, please just help us for today. And when I come back, I would continue. But for today, please help us write the report. And she went ahead and wrote, passed. No, it's not even that she wrote. She passed the notes that the other lady made off to the people. Like she passed off the notes as hers. And the other lady was sacked. Yes, the hardworking lady was sacked. And later on, people began to find out that it was never her fault. It was this other lady who did not want to do the job and was just out to get to other people. So this is how some people's attitude are to work. They're opportunists that are just waiting to sap out what you can bring so they can benefit from you. And because when you find yourself in an environment like that, it is definitely going to be toxic. Because as much as you are making yourself better because of the workload, you could also really be exhausted. It's just too much for one person. So you're coming to work every morning and I'm going to go and meet this person, and I know she's going to do something terrible. And you're not even motivated to be at work. He also touched that sometimes even the organization, the people that are set in place by the organization to disburse certain things, do not get to do their job, and because of that, the workers are discouraged.
In a typical work environment, you have the HR, that is the human resource, is supposed to be, in case you have any issue, especially as regard toxicity, it's supposed to be the HR that you should communicate to. So I want to throw this question. What if you work in an environment that the person that you should relate your issues to is also like part of the problem, or he himself is toxic or she is toxic, being human resource like officer or manager?
Then there is
because
a problem.
Earlier on I talked about the fact that you need resources to work and they are not available, it hampers on your productivity and lowers your morale. Now the fact that there's poor communication, it also affects it, like it makes the work environment toxic. When you have gossiping, when you have verbal abuse, when you have people not relating information as that when
you have negligence,
all these are toxic attributes. And because of the impact on you as an individual, it impacts on your well-being. Your mental health is at stake. And that's why you have in some organization high turnover of staff, because the person just feels, I can't do this. Every day you go to work, but I'm ready to work, but everything is becoming frustrating. So it impacts on your well-being negatively, like there's impact there. So most people want to let me just leave this. And one of the characteristics of a workplace that is toxic is that you keep seeing turnover of staff. People keep going because of the toxicity in that environment. What do you do when the person you're supposed to relate to, because the person you should relate to when you have problem is not even your boss, it's not even the director or the general, it is the human resource. So what happens now when the person you're supposed to relate to is also toxic?
If the person you're supposed to relate with is toxic, then there is a problem. with the organization, because who else do you turn to? For me, I feel at the end of the day, you check, okay, does this thing affect just you alone? That's a staff of that organization, or there are many others that are in the same dilemma with you? If there are, who else is above the HR? Because it needs to be rectified, or else it will keep repeating itself. That person that is above the HR should be approached. This is what is going on. This is how it has affected us. And that person should be able to sit everyone down and find the root cause of the issue. Earlier on, you asked the question, the characteristics. In a workplace, you find bullying.
Yeah.
You find hatred.
True.
When someone just picks on you for no reason. Sometimes in a workplace, you find, okay, I don't like Prudence. And because I don't like Prudence, whatever point she brings to the table, even if it is valid, I will not take it serious. But the moment Joyce repeats the same thing Prudence said, I immediately pick Joyce's own. Why? Because I don't like Prudence. So you find people manipulative, you find people controlling. Someone just wants
Ganging
to
up.
maneuver. Yes, ganging up. I may
True.
just meet this one, and then we've ganged up against you. Why? Because I don't like you. I feel like, okay, you're not the right person. I just want to do something that will, at the end of the day, push you out of the job. And so you find people coming to work every day with so much fear in their heart. They wake up in the morning
I
and
mean-
the thought that they are coming to work here
They are even
is just
tired
scaring
before
them.
coming
to
And
work.
then they fall into
Practical
depression.
example.
But because they don't want to go jobless, they have to keep coming, whether they like it or not, so that they enjoy it or not, because they have to make
I have an
a
example.
living.
I have an example. I don't know why Sambo Sullivan is laughing. I worked in a place where every day you wake up, you know that when you get to your office, there's something. Like, so the fact that you know that when you get to the office, there's something to settle, and guess what? So who said this? Who said that? I had this. Somebody recorded people. You said this. So the fact that you know is either you are being called to come and explain something, or you are asked if you heard when somebody said something, or you are told you were recorded, or you were told. Like, it affects your thinking. So instead of me thinking that I'm going to work, I need to do this program, I need to do this, like write this report, I'm thinking, so what does the day have to offer in terms of the toxic
And it
attributes
affects
that is
your
there?
productivity.
Of course, because
in
now you're
that
not thinking of your work.
workplace.
You're
Exactly.
thinking, if I'm now called and asked that who said this, how would I respond to the situation? Or what if I go and there's a letter on my table? How do I react to that? So it hampers generality of the organization is also at stake, because if your workplace or if that work environment is toxic, then check it. It will definitely hamper on morals of the workers and even on the productivity at the end, because at the end of the day, you're spending more time on things that does not matter.
Exactly.
You all will not be thinking of ideas to move the organization forward, but you're always thinking of, okay, back, like
How
you're
to defend yourself.
How to
you
defend
understand.
yourself.
Practical
You know-
example
Yeah,
now, I'm
yes.
not even thinking of what to do when I go as far as
No.
productivity is concerned, but you're thinking of how to defend when it comes. You enter the office and you're good morning, you are watching faces of people, how they respond. If you see that they
It's
answer
it.
you morning, so you are thinking that by 12 noon we are going to
We're
be
going
called.
to-
There is something.
There's something already.
You see,
And you know, these toxic people are everywhere.
They're everywhere.
It's
I
not
was going
just
to
in
say-
one particular workplace. It's like they
They're
scattered
like
them
scattered
all around.
everywhere.
Workplace, schools, everywhere. They are
Arrogant,
there.
disrespectful, all
attitude.
these are
Yeah,
That
the
attitude
hellfire
is-
is still empty.
I'm actually-
So he's
I-
really working hard to
I was-
gather people that will tell that part.
So I was thinking, a lot of times when we're talking workplaces and people think that it's just majorly workplace. For anybody who does business, you know that you meet a lot of customers that
Yes.
are toxic.
very true.
I met someone who was talking about a customer of his that for this is a job that they would have finished in a month tops. A month tops. But as at the time I was talking with the person, they had already done like 3 months and they've just worked on one of the projects, not the second. They've not even touched the second one. And this person keeps bringing up certain things. Oh no, I want to change this. No, change that. Make it like this and make it like that and do this. Technically, you're supposed to have been meticulous enough to have watched what you want to do, edit it, be prepared before you call the person that is going to work on it, rather than making someone struggle this much. But you see, people have poor work habits, and because you have poor work habits and poor work character and behavior, automatically you become a toxic person.
Mm-hmm.
This person tomorrow would not even want to work with you anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So even when someone is recommending you, like, no, this person has a large gig for you, you're like, no,
I had
I'm not going to
someone
work
said
with this
that
person
I
again.
hate to work with this person. I said,
Mm.
wow.
Mm.
I can imagine the level of toxicity.
Toxic, yes.
And
Like,
because
I
you are not
hate
in a
to
position
walk.
to sack the other person, you have
Yeah.
to just show attitude.
Mm.
Because you're not
Exactly.
comfortable with
So
that
so
person.
you find attitude, you find people being carefree, because whatever I do, this person is just going to find some reason to complain. So let me just do what I can do. And so you're not giving in your best. Or it's either that or you're killing yourself to do something and the person does not appreciate it at the
So
end
how
of the
do you
day.
navigate through? Like, now, having established all of these characteristics, poor communication characterized by gossiping, verbal abuse, lack of proper passing of information, and then we talk about high turnover, people coming and going because of the attitudes that are being this negative attitude that impacts on their well-being, and for some people even affects them, like leading them to depression and all of that. So how do you navigate through when you have leaders, like you work in a place where they show favoritism, like you are being denied promotion, what you are entitled to, like you don't get it because maybe for one reason or the other you find yourself working overtime and you're not being paid for that, and nobody appreciates you for your effort. So how do you navigate it? Sam Solomon earlier on has started talking about knowing who you are, what you stand for, like particularly is going to help. But I want us to really hammer on navigating through, because a lot of work environments are toxic today. I was sharing with someone at one point where I was saying I'm leaving this, like I can't continue with this job, and then the person now told me, Joyce, how many jobs would you leave? Because who told you that where you want to go to, like it's going to be swell? So it looks like almost every work environment where you are expected to be productive is being toxic. Business places, sometimes you go, I was hearing how that some of these marketplaces, this person will sweep to the other person's shop, the other person
And
wants
leave
to
it there.
sell, you go and cover his own barricade everywhere, enter another person's place.
True.
Another person will put music on high volume,
Overshadow the
so
other
that
person's
so
business.
you see, not just at workplaces, even at business places where you're supposed to bring out ideas. There are some places, Prudence said, you want to bring ideas but you're being short because you're not liked, and then the other person will bring the same idea and then it's appreciated. So how would you navigate through and still be productive and continue with your morale? Like, what do you need to do? How do you navigate this work
I think you
environment?
stand for the truth. You have to decide that it is better I am known for the truth and I spoke it out, or I am known as a coward and I kept harboring it in my heart. You stand for the truth. You have to go back to the ethics of that workplace, the core values of that workplace. Go back and check. Probably you forgot some of the things or you skipped it altogether. You know, the agreement form is so long, you don't have time. You just sign before
agree and
reading.
sign, that's
So you
all.
go back to it and check. Does this match the things that I want in an organization? If yes, then you go and stand for the truth. I am not comfortable with this thing. I am not okay with this thing. And what you're saying should have evidence. You shouldn't just be speaking based on your emotions or based on transfer of aggression. You should be speaking because that is what is happening and you're not comfortable with it. And then go through the right channel. Who do you need to go to? Do not skip this person and go to the next one because you know him or he would favor you. No, go through the right channel. And if at the end of the day nothing is done about it and they have to relieve you of your position, it is fine. The most important thing is you stood for the right thing and you did not just follow the crowd. For me, I feel you should do all the right things that you need to do.
Okay, so one thing very, 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 very outstanding about it is that if you really want to navigate a toxic environment, not just the workplace, is that you are persistent in what you're doing and focused. And that is only possible if you know who you are and what you stand for, just like Solomon said. And a lot of times, focus tends to be wobbly in these kind of situations because you find that people are always getting on your nerves. And because people are always getting on your nerves, it's easy for you to just use your emotions and make decisions. That's even the reaction that every human being will expect you to do. But for you to be able to maneuver your way, to navigate through a toxic workplace, it is that you have self-control, that you do your best. Sometimes you might fail, but you do your best not to react in certain circumstances. Like, you need to understand the situation every time that you find yourself, so that you know when you need to react and when you need to just hold back. It's not going to be an easy ride. In fact, it's the toughest thing to do, because someone is always stepping on your toes. Someone is just always trying to get a reaction out of you. So it's not something that is going to be an easy ride. In fact, in life, working with your emotions, or like handling your emotions in general, is a really tough task. A lot of times when people with mental health issues, you find that people are telling them things like, it's because you have a major problem in handling your emotions, that is why you're where you are at. At that point, your mental health is like really faulty. So it's like you're ticking away from. Someone was saying that your mental health is like a pendulum clock, and so you're moving out of the line of average. And because you are pissed to that point, you're already moving out of the line of average. And for you to actually bring back your senses to be together so that you make the right decisions is going to be really tough. So you cannot necessarily control yourself completely, but I think that that's where it comes to, as a Christian, you trusting in God to help you do certain things.
You know, I said earlier on that this toxic environment, workplace, it impacts on you negatively. Sometimes you see people, they get job, they come like they are all good, calm, like they came with an understanding, with an attitude, with a value, with principle that guides how they behave. But sooner or later they change. How did they change? Why did they change? The environment impacted them negatively. So look at you putting yourself at stake. Because I was thinking to myself, how do I navigate? Okay, I want to maintain a positive mindset. What if, as I'm trying to maintain the positive mindset, I work in a place that I'm headed by somebody, and oftentimes the person is bringing it to me that, oh, you need to do this, and I know by virtue of my values and what I stand for, I'm not supposed to do this, and yet you're answerable to this person. Like, how do you navigate your way through? Because you're just sign this document, withdraw this money and bring for me. Or maybe something that is entitled to people, I'm being asked to because I'm the accountant. Now I should not deny the people what is they are entitled. Like, how do I maintain a positive mindset in that kind of situation? Because we are talking about impacting your well-being, impacting you mentally. So how do you exercise self-control in this kind of situation? Or where you have somebody that your superior asking you to sleep with him or her. We always talk about the ladies. Even men go through that as well. And that's why I say people come to work with their values and principles. And sooner or later, they adapt to the environment they found themselves. Or you see them putting up character that they didn't even come with. Why? Because somebody has impacted them negatively. So how do you, in such circumstances now, I just got a job and I came with a positive mindset to be productive, to add value to that workplace. And here am I with my superior asking that, I have a relationship with him or her. That if like relationship that I should not engage in the first place, or asking unhealthy relation, or asking me to do things that are contrary to what I stand. How do you maintain a positive mindset in that situation?
It's not going to be easy, especially since you find yourself in that environment almost every day. But there's one thing I know that helps you be confident. I know a lot of times people will say, don't go around giving dirt from the organization that you're working with. Okay, so you don't necessarily have to say everything that is going on, but you need a confidence that you can, someone that you are accountable to, and you're telling, okay, so this is the temptation I'm facing right now, this is the scenario that is being painted. I need you to walk with me, pray with me, talk with me, so that I'm able to resist. So I give you tidbits of what is happening on that day. Okay, so I went to the office and this happened, but I'm not giving you the full gist. It's not the whole, but the struggle that I'm struggling with. And I really think that is because this person you do not want to lie to. This is someone that you trust to keep, to support you through this. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're giving him exactly what is happening, but just a snippet. This is what I'm struggling with. I just need your help. So this time around, this person is be able to cancel you or to direct you, to help you, to aid you, and this person is still checking up on you to see your progress. This person might not be working with you in the same organization, but someone entirely on a neutral ground. This is one way that could help you, because you have someone, a backbone that you can rely on for certain circumstances. However, there are certain things that you don't need to tell external people, like people that are not in that circle. For instance, if it is about instructions that you constantly getting, and these instructions are trade secrets of your organization.
Prudence, why would you want to cover something that is
No,
wrong?
let me explain what I'm saying.
Why you know what? Today, what some of the things we suffer in our world today is because of fear of the unknown. You talk about standing for the truth. You can't have confidence if you are standing on the wrong path.
I think
If I know
what
I'm
I'm
on the
saying,
right
I think,
path, why should I be scared? Sometimes we fear, okay, when I do this, when I say this, I'm going to lose my job, and we keep empowering the perpetrators. The person has his way with you because
I get
he did
your point.
another person. Do you understand?
I think
What
I
I'm
think
saying
what you
is-
should do is just leave the job. All this talk to somebody, leave the job, because if you're starting that job with sleeping with your boss, it will never get better. Don't think it will get to
You're
a
looking at
point
it from
where
starting.
I'm coming. Don't think it will get to a point where your boss will say, well, since you've slept with me enough, you can continue the job. I won't demand that. Once you start with that, in fact, it will get to a point that you would have to do more than just that, because that will become a normal thing. So they will demand more from you. If it stands against your principles, against your values, against what you believe
I
in,
mean, your
leave
response
the
should be
job.
no.
Yes, your response should be
regardless
do you
of the
understand?
impact, because what we're scared of is, okay, if I say no,
I
I
will
will
get
lose the
another
job.
job.
No, explore other
Yes,
opportunities.
but you
And
see what
and
I'm
know
talking
what?
about?
You can leave. You can say no and leave the
And
job
leave
and
the
still
job.
share with someone. You see, because you'll be feeling this regret, like I lost the job because of this decision I made.
What
So
I'm
you can still say no, a capital no, leave the job and still share with someone.
I
You know,
get
a
what you're
problem
saying.
shared is half solved. You feel some form of emotion
Relief.
going out of it, so you can still share with someone. But the best answer is no.
You see what I'm talking about? You have said no, but this person is persistent, and she said beginning the job. For some people, it's not about beginning the job. Some of them have already started the job.
You can
You have
still
already
leave.
progressed. Let me
You can-
explain
even
what
if
I'm
you've
saying.
started the
Let
job,
me-
you can still leave.
Let
At
me explain
any
what I'm
point,
trying to
middle,
say.
end, anywhere you
Okay,
can
make
still
your
leave.
point.
What I'm
Prudence.
saying is, when I said you need to talk to someone to aid you, is if this person is persistent and you still think that you can handle it, you need a confidant. But when you see that there's no other way, you walk out. That's where I was heading to. It's not about. That's why I said you don't make emotional decisions.
I understand.
It's
your
about
point of
doing
view.
the right
You know
thing,
we are
actually.
different.
Don't
Some
make
Muslims
Yes.
will always talk about
You
the
know,
fact that
the
we're
devil can
different.
be crafty. He would make you look like, okay, there's a way you can handle it. How do you want to handle a boss wanting to sleep with you? Do you want to go and beg the boss or talk to other people to come and help you beg? If it's beyond you, there and then, don't even think, okay, later I may. Just say no.
I understand
there
your
and
point
then.
of view, and I also understand from Prudence, because we are wired differently. We
Actually.
are wired differently. There are some of us that you can liken us to thick skin people, and there are some that are very soft, like they are very soft. When they mean soft, at the moment you're even asking them to do something that they cannot, they will start crying. So you need somebody to counsel you.
Yes.
So you see, that's where the position of the HR also comes in. But like I asked earlier, what if the person you're supposed to confide in is also the perpetrator? It becomes an issue. Most time we fear the unknown, and we keep we keep quiet,
swallowing things.
we swallow it, and we allow the person, we keep enabling the person. See, there are situations that you just have to say no. A clear example, at some point after my secondary school, I was invited for a modeling stuff like that. It was an opportunity. They were looking for models that will represent the brand and all of that. So I was called, and when I went there for the whole thing, and they said they need to do some forms of examination or measurement and all, I was called in. The day I went, I was alone, and I was called in. When I went in, I was asked, okay, they need to check my eyes, they need to check my height, they need to check shoulder and all these things. I was calm, and after all the first interview questions and all, the next part was measuring and checking. Check my eyes, check my height, my shoulder and all. I was calm. And then the next one is that they need to measure my waist. I was still calm in that. I was wondering, okay, my waist. Okay, fine. I was wearing trouser. Measure the waist. I say you need to take your top a bit up so that they can measure the waist. That's fine. I still picked it, like drag the top up, and from that, no, the waist is down. I don't know, when I go to tell us, they say my waist is up, but this one now they said the waist is down. So you have to pull your trouser. I was wondering which measurement again that I have to pull trouser here.
Measure with the trouser
Do you
and
understand
minus 1 or
that
2.
they need to check. So at that point I was already like, no, I can't do this. Which one is remove your trouser? And the person was, why are you behaving like this? Why are you behaving like this? This is something we do every day. We see, do you know the kind of girls we see daily that are just to measure you are dragging your feet? And I said,
No.
sir, I can't do this. Do you know what you are saying? Do you know the opportunities that lie ahead when we become a brand representative? You'll be making millions a month and all of that. He spoke about all the opportunities and all. He said, bring down your trouser. And I said, thank you, I won't do this. I walked out and I left. Because while he was explaining, I was thinking about like my values, my principles, the things I stand for, my belief, and which one is remove your trouser?
You see,
and that was how I left. Till tomorrow, those that choose to be in modeling, I'm not against you, but whatever you bring around me that has to do with modeling, I'm not part of it. That was because of my experience. So I'm not trying to write off every other person that is in that industry, but I'm saying based on my personal experience, when you bring anything that has to do with that, I have ruled that out. Now, have I had opportunities to get to work and pay my bills? I have. There are millions that did it come? No. Did it ever come to my life? Yes, through other means. So I cannot say that, okay, hey, these are things we always say. And a lot of people are going through abuse, even at workplace, even married women. Recently, I saw a video of a married woman with a lecturer for grade. Now, because this man threatened her, if you want to pass this course, you failed it twice, you must sleep with me, you must come and give me your body. And she went, and they were caught red-handed. So look at what she had to do because of Mark. So sometimes we fear the unknown. This is something that if she had opened up, like the whole case will have been fought, and that man will not do it again.
It was actually a simple thing that she should have just said, okay, so my spouse, this is it. I'm going to school, but this is what I'm facing right now. This is something that you need to be just up and say it out glaringly. Earlier on, when I was talking about how you needed a confidant outside, I was talking about pressure at work when your boss is being overbearing and certain other things, and you're talking to someone as a confidant. But there are things that, just like she pointed out, especially things like sexual relations and things like that, that go against your rules or your principles, go against you entirely.
Not just sexual,
your moral.
Prudence, lying against people,
theft,
slandering, backbiting. People do that in the office.
All
you are
these
called
things.
to conspire,
Yes.
conspire against another
Exactly.
person, right against somebody,
Stealing.
carrying what
Anything.
does not belong to you. All these things are wrong.
things. Anything that goes against your morals, that goes against your principles and your beliefs, it's a no. It's an outright no. Sometimes you say no, and you're giving a benefit of doubt, or rather, you're giving them a benefit, the workplace or the organization a benefit of doubt, and still there, and it still gets worse. that's what I was saying by you being persistent with someone out. I mean, you being accountable with someone out there and expressing that
Prudence
this is the
should be a
struggle I'm
lawyer,
going
I
to.
mean. That her point, she must
No,
No,
explain.
I'm getting
No
it.
matter
But-
how
but you
much
see-
time
So
has
I'm
passed.
I
let me
agree with
explain.
you. I agree with
Okay.
you. You know, because earlier I was just quiet because I saw the pressure from.
Between
But I
the two of us.
understand that
See,
you know
even
it's
after-
the J
Everybody
thing.
needs to understand.
It's the J thing. I understand you very well because that's on the lighter.
She
note.
must
That's
defend
that's
herself.
on
I'm
the lighter.
defending
note.
myself.
But the truth is that yes, you need to confront someone. You know, you need to tell someone what you are going through because some can be so overbearing. You know, when they are on your matter, like you just feel like you will ask God, why on earth do you just have to connect me, or our path have to just cross with this person? Because you just feel like he is the total package of your temptation in your Christian life. Yes, some you can just be one person. Some is not even your boss. Yes, some is not even your boss. You can be on the same rank. Some can be your junior, and because he's holding on to something up, he will do whatever he feels like doing, and then there's nothing you can do. Which one is more painful?
Entitlement.
You are seeing somebody that you know you can punish, but you can't punish the person simply because
He knows
of the
something.
connection. Yes, it's happening, and you just feel like no, you can't take this. And when you talk before your subordinate, you will see that they are scolding you, like trying to tell you did something wrong while you are on the right path. So all of these things happen. But the truth of the whole matter, yes, if you find someone that you confide, because it is very important, this issue of circle, and then looking up to people that are above you, you find out that what you're going through now you are struggling with, but someone has scaled through. I think that's the point she's trying to
Thank you very
to
much for
communicate. Like someone has scaled through,
clarifying.
he's not seeing it as something. That person will really help you, sit you down and say, you see, yes, I know you are thinking of doing this. I thought of it as well, but look at how God saved me. I did this. With the help of God, look at where I am today. So can you pipe down? Let's see. Together we'll pray. And let's see how God will help you, to overcome this particular situation. If you find people like that, fine. That means you have good cycle. You have people that you can trust, people that can advise you. If you don't have, and then it's really overbearing, is eating you up, and you think because of your mental health and because of what you stand for and what you believe is as well good as you just living, like you said.
In fact,
It's as simple as
in
that.
fact, one of the ways of navigating through toxic work environments or workplace is like finding somebody you trust and then talk to the person about like the things that are happening that is affecting you. But from our point of view of saying no, there are times that when you're asked to do some of these things, it's not, can you go and think about it?
No.
You will
No,
not have the
no, no,
opportunity
no.
to go and think before you come and answer. It's come, open, or hey, sign this. You're just giving a document, sign it. Go out there and write so and so and
This.
bring it now.
Now.
So you won't have the opportunity to go and talk to somebody. You have to respond in that situation. No. And
No.
God has given
Yes.
us the if there's anything, we have choice. So you have the right to, well, your left and your right. There are certain situations that you might need to talk about it. For example, when you work in an environment that there's poor communication, every day you hear things, gossiping, verbal abuse, you are stupid, you are this, you are that, you are incompetent, or when you see nepotism taking place, favoritism and all of that, denial of promotion, what is due is not given. These things you can talk, you can seek for counseling. But the ones that require you take action immediately, take the action if you need to respond. I know, see, you can't keep staying in a place because you are scared of the unknown or losing the job. There are situations that will require you resign from that place for your mental well-being. If you need to resign and explore other opportunities, please do that. As far as you stand on the truth and what you're doing is right, you'll be vindicated at the end of the day. It was on this side I talk about a young man that was sacked because he scolded a child that belonged to the proprietor. And that same week that he was sacked, he got 2 different offers, and everybody was willing to work with his term. It was double pay of what he was actually receiving. So if it is the truth you're standing on, you will definitely be vindicated. So you won't stay and then every day your mental health is at stake. At the end of the day, you find yourself in psychiatry. Why? Because you felt that if you leave that place, then you will not have anything to bounce back to. And in some cases, like you rightly suggested, you can talk to somebody you trust. If your HR is trustworthy, you can talk with him or her. If you have another colleague or somebody outside of your workplace that you trust, you can confide in. You can say, this is the situation you are going through. You work in a place, for some people, they have the thick skin. They don't care. No matter what you do to them, it doesn't shake them. Or you think you want to get a Sambo Slogan, so you remove this, or you talk to his subordinate, or you do. They don't care about that.
Resilient.
They are so resilient. They are built that capacity. You might not have that strength or that capability to do that. But what do is, so if you have somebody that you trust, you can confide, you can talk to. It's very important that we find a way of navigating like toxic workplace, because at the end of the day, if you're unable to navigate it, it will impact on you negatively. And that's why some people, you see their character change, their personality change. You see, I said this earlier before this show, that in life, as far as success is concerned, your character and your personality is very key. And whatever will impact on this, think twice.
It's true.
Whatever will impact on it negatively, I think you should think about it.
And sometimes this temptations may come as a test. Probably they are saying, sign this or come and sleep with this. They're trying to see how your response will be, and whatever response you give will determine if you have passed or you have failed. So it can be a test, and sometimes you may stand for the truth actually, and you'll be sacked, and you may not get another job. So it doesn't mean because you stood for the truth and left that place, another one will be waiting for you. Sometimes you may have to go through a rigorous exercise before you would eventually get it. But whether you get it immediately or not, the truth still remains that you stood for that truth and
Before
you
we
left
draw the curtain,
well.
okay, let me just give you 1 minute before we draw the curtain. Like, I mean 1 minute.
Okay, and then I just wanted to say that from the angle that she's coming from, sometimes the things don't look right, but you see, when it said all things, it said all things work together for good. It said all things. That means the good, the bad, and the ugly. And sometimes things really do get ugly and messy. So just be encouraged that at the end of the day, there's still light at the end of the tunnel. It's not going to be easy. It is never easy. No.
And I would say, in any toxic place you find yourself, save yourself first before you would get impacted negatively in that place. Save yourself. Make sure your sanity is intact, your principles and whatsoever it is you stand for before you got to that place. Make sure it is intact. Nobody should influence you negatively. If you cannot beat them, run away. You don't have to join them.
Exactly.
True. Yeah. And I want to encourage someone out there, don't be quiet. Just find someone to confide. And then knowing where you're coming from, if you are a Christian, just know that all things work together for good for those who trust the Lord.
That's a very powerful one. You know, the Bible admonishes us that we should know. And the toxic environment that you work in, or all the characteristics that are displaying, are part of some of the trials. But you know, some of these trials are self-inflicted, while some, we know that you're passing through it because of what you stand for. Maybe as a Christian, you're a Christian and you're seeing people perpetrating evil in your office just because you decided that I will stand for what I believe. I will not join them. People are being promoted. People are being given a lot of entitlement, and you're being denied just because you're standing for the truth. Don't give up. Don't give up. Like Prudence say, all things work for good. As far as you're standing for the truth, God will definitely vindicate you. But more importantly is that you should not be found wanting at work. Your work is your worship, and that should be the attitude that we should put out there, because whatever we do, we are being encouraged to do it as unto the Lord. So I pray that God help you. If you're working in a toxic workplace, that you find strength today to either talk to somebody or have the courage to explore other options. And at this point, we're going to be drawing the curtain. Thank you so much for doing this with us. We appreciate the Equa executive for this platform. Thank you, Equa TV supporters, and to you, our viewers. Thank you so much. Until we come your way tomorrow with another exciting topic, you stay blessed.